Streaming in public, boy oh boy, it comes with a lot of questions and fears. For example, are you supposed to do something or not supposed to do something? And also it attracts a lot of attention, so there's fears around that, right? People are staring at you, wondering what you're doing. So, are you ready to dig in to the 5 rules of streaming in public? We'll tackle all of the fears, etiquette, questions, etc., etc. Let's do this. There are many reasons to stream in public. For example, maybe you do IRL, in real life content, where you are taking people along for the journey of your life. You're sharing cool adventure experiences with them, like we sometimes do with our IRL setup. Or maybe you're doing what I call live streams, shorter form versions of IRL, where you are helping people connect to you in a real life, more human setting than maybe your how-to content that you do on YouTube or Facebook. Or maybe you're just actually needing to stream because you're creating content that's relevant to your topic and it just needs to be outdoors that day and you kind of gotta go outside and stream in public. Ooh, a public place. So, don't worry, we are going to get into the rules and all of that. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Larry Petrucci. I help you grow your audience and grow your business using live video. And I would love to meet you. If we haven't met before, type new in the comments so we can say hi. I understand why it is scary, which leads us directly into our first rule: know when to ask for permission or not. You need to know whether it's a public place or a private place and when to ask for permission. So as Eric asked, we need to understand what determines a private place and a public place. And this is the number one thing that you must understand going out to stream in public. So what is a public place? Well, consider the public places as outdoors, places like a festival or walking along the beach or the sidewalk, or even where I am right now in a courtyard with a bunch of restaurants and shops surrounding the courtyard. There is no expectation of privacy in a public place. If I'm filming somebody and they walk by, there's no expectation of privacy in that moment. However, a private place would be, for example, the shops and the restaurants that are surrounding this courtyard that I'm in. So while I'm in a public place right here, as soon as I walk into the shop, I am now in a private place. So think about anybody who is a business is a private place. Anybody who's charging for admission, for example, parks and places like that, those places are typically considered private and may or may not allow you to stream there. So we need to now think about, all right, how do I ask for permission, and do I need to do it in advance or can I do it on the spot? There are no hard and fast rules around this, to be honest, because streaming is still so new, but I've been doing it for like 13 years and I've gained some insight into what's best when and where, so let's dig in. First and foremost, if I'm around here shopping in a shopping center and I'm walking into store after store after store, or I'm gonna be out and about and I'm gonna go eat at a restaurant, I don't call ahead for those things. It's really just kind of normal life. And so that stuff I do on the spot. Before I walk in the door or as I'm walking in the door, I show them the camera and I say, I don't point it at them, but I point it at myself and I say, hey, do you mind if a camera is in here? Like I did when we were shopping for sunglasses. Hello. Is it okay to have a camera and a dog? I was just looking for, okay. I got 2 knocks against me. Okay, thank you. However, if it's an adventure, what I would classify as an adventure, we're taking you to the San Diego Animal Park, or we're going to go to the aquarium or a Comic-Con, things like that, that is where I ask for permission in advance. So for all of these examples, I actually went ahead and emailed their press departments and I asked for permission to bring my camera in. In those cases, sometimes you can get free admission, sometimes you can't. As press, But that's an entirely different topic, and I'll do a different video all about how to ask for permission as a member of the press. That is your general guideline about where and when to actually ask for permission and how to do it. Now, one quick note before we move on to rule number 2. Petra asked this on Twitter, would wearing a cap or a t-shirt that says I go live or streamer, was that helpful when you're streaming in public so people know kind of what you're doing? And I would say at this point, like, it could be helpful to some, but not many. People still don't understand streaming in public, streaming in general. So wearing a shirt, like, I don't typically think that people read all of the things that are on your shirt or your hat if they're just passing by, right? So it could be helpful, but it's not going to make a big difference. Rule number 2, don't argue when you're asked to leave a store or shop. It doesn't do you any good. Let's not get sassy. Let's just abide by the rules and make it a pleasant experience for everyone involved rather than making everybody get all upset, angry, and who knows what else, right? So just make sure that you don't argue the process. Now, Eric brought up maybe people are asking you to leave, stating that they have rules, and maybe there aren't actually official rules around that. And my answer to that is, I don't care. If there are actually no official rules to Costco or the artist that we were asked to leave their shop while streaming in San Diego, if there are no official rules and they still ask us to leave, we're going to leave. Now, what I do instead is I actually say, you know what, that's totally fine. I'm willing to walk right out of here. I just want you to know what I'm doing for the future. So if anybody ever comes in here in the future, you'll know what this is all about. And I actually state very clearly, the reason that we are streaming is to allow others opportunities to experience amazing things like yourself and get awareness of something that they may want to buy in the future, right? So I tell them the benefit to them, but I do it in a very nice, very polite way so that they just know that I'm educating them, and then I walk right out with no argument whatsoever. I feel like that is the best way for all of us streamers to see success in the future. Remember, we are early in the days of streaming. Rule number 3, make sure you ask for permission before putting any individual on camera, especially kids. Now, the reason that I have this rule is that the worst thing you can do is you walk in somewhere public or private, they've even given you permission as you're walking in the door to stream, and you shove a camera in their face and they're like, whoa, what is this? I am a little scared and freaked out right now, because most people react that way. So be aware of how people are not as comfortable on camera as you might be. So I always ask, even if I've gotten permission to stream in a location, I ask if they're okay being on camera before shoving the camera in their face. And I don't get it too close. I give them their personal space. Now, kids especially, I am very, very, very cautious about. When I first got here, you might have heard some kids in the background. There were kids behind me, actually behind the camera. I always face the camera away from kids if at all possible. 1, they're noisy. 2, it's actually a lot better for, you know, the parents' comfortability to have you not pointing cameras in their face, because, you know, parents are protective, as they should be. So if a kid walks up to me, runs up to me, asks me questions, we don't actually keep the kid on camera. We'll either point it slightly off or we'll ask for permission. Now, when it comes to asking for permission to the parents to get the kids on camera, I don't do that all the time. If it's gonna be a short interaction, and you can tell the difference. If it's gonna be a really short interaction, I just don't even bother with it. If it's a lengthier conversation, or there's stuff that's going on that's maybe a little bit more relevant to asking for permission, then I will say, do you mind if I point the camera? And I just like ask the parent kind of privately, and they often say, no problem. But you do not want to go filming kids, especially in this day and age, without parents' permission. By the way, if you want more tips and strategies and how-tos for your live videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification, because you know how YouTube works. You won't get notified, and we don't want you to miss a thing. All right, let's get on to rule number 4. Know your platform's music rules. Whichever platform that you're streaming to, each one has a different rule in place for whether you can capture music in the background. And by the way, when it comes to getting people on camera, obviously if they're walking in the background, I don't say anything. If you're streaming on YouTube or Facebook, just know that they have specific rules about copyrighted music. They do not allow you to actually stream copyrighted music. I have a whole YouTube video all about that, rules and everything you need to know, so go watch that if you want more information. But like on Mixer and Twitch, you can stream without worry about copyright. Now, Twitch actually removes the audio from a VOD replay of that if there is copyrighted music, but you can at least stream without worry. For now, who knows when that will change? It could change any minute. All right, let's get on to rule number 5, and I've kind of hinted at this throughout this entire video. Be a good steward of the streamer community as a whole. You are not the only streamer in the world. You are not the only one that wants to do this and stream in public and must stream in public at times. So let's think about the streamer community as a whole and make a good name for all of us so that we are welcomed instead of shunned. That is a big possibility. The more bad streamers there are out there doing stupid things, making a big fuss when not allowed to stream, and disrupting the environment, the less opportunity the rest of us have. So keep that in mind. Please, 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 I beg of you. It's so important. One thing that we like to do as good stewards of the streamer community is be aware of our environment. Don't disrupt the mood. Whatever environment you're in has an existing mood, and pay attention to that as you walk in. If it's a quiet place, be quiet, use your inside voice. If it's a noisy place, it's okay to be a little bit more right? So think about the mood and be aware of the people around you. Don't scream and be loud when there are people trying to have private conversations in the booth next to you at the restaurant. Consider the people around you. That's really what it boils down to. And like I said earlier, I always love to educate people on what we're doing and why it's a benefit to them if they're a public place or a private place, really a private establishment, doing business. So I like to help people understand what the streaming world is all about, and you are more than welcome to join us in this outreach program. It's not officially a program, but you know, maybe outreach program, you know what I mean. I would love your thoughts on this. Leave a comment below. Tell me what your experience has been like streaming in public, or if you've just been too afraid to do it. And when it comes to fear, I would say please don't be fearful of it. It is an okay thing. Don't worry about, you know, people staring at you. Just be polite and focus on the environment that you're trying to create on your stream. Engage with your community, help them have an amazing experience, and don't worry about the stares that are coming your way. I promise it's okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time.